Hey guys, how's it going? Alpha Records. And you know what they say? They usually say the third one is the best one. And we're definitely in for that today. So we've all been following that Eminem versus Nick Cannon beef that Eminem reignited with the Lord Above track on Joe's album, Fat Joe's album. So after that, Nick Cannon had released two diss tracks. One was called The Invitation, and the other one was Pray For Him. Basically, trying to lure M into accepting an invitation to be on Wild Now, which is Nick Cannon's show, right? We all knew that was for clout. We all knew the tracks pretty much sucked, and everybody on there was rapping a little better than Nick Cannon himself, actually. So it made him look bad. We thought it was just for jokes. Everybody was talking about how Nick Cannon's the first rapper to lose a beef without even getting a response yet. And yeah, so a few days go by, no response. Nick and 50 Cent are going back and forth. And today he drops a new track. This new track is called Cancelled Invitation. FYI, they're all canceled with one L. It's not my problem. I'm just pointing that out. Probably Nick did it so fast he didn't even know how he was writing the words, right? But canceled is with two L's, so I'll just let y'all know that. And anyways, he releases this track. It's called Cancelled Invitation. And it starts off with a lot of bits from Eminem's past disses in the years before 2019, like The Warning. It talks a lot about, a few snippets here and there from Eminem disses in the beginning. Everybody's like, where's the bars? Where's the raps? You know, when is Nick Cannon coming in? And one of the things a lot of people respected about this track is that it's actually Nick Cannon on it. Now, I'm about to break down exactly what he says or what my interpretation of the song was, but before I do this, I want to say one thing, and I want y'all to hear me out on this, alright? Now, this song wasn't actually that bad, and this track wasn't actually that bad by Nick Cannon's standards. And what I mean by that is, like, when people say Eminem has a bad track, I believe personally that Eminem doesn't have bad songs. He just has bad songs in comparison to his standards, because he's made so much great music in the past that everybody's only comparing it to that. They can't compare it to other rappers in the game right now. And for example, one thing, a lot of people were saying that Recovery back then was an album where he sold out, that's a really pop-ish and stuff, but the bars on there were fire, whether you like it or not. And people were saying it was a bad album. To me, it was actually a good album, just bad in comparison to the rest of his discography. And if you were to put anybody's name on that album that's not Eminem, for example, Macklemore, if you were to put Logic, if you were to put anybody else, you would say, damn, Logic did an amazing album, Macklemore did an album we didn't expect, or, you know. But it all comes down to what you've done in the past, and that's what they compare you to. So in terms of Nick Cannon, if we compare him to his last diss tracks, this track wasn't actually that bad. And he's talking a lot about basic stuff that he's been saying. You know, Eminem's white, he's a culture vulture, and he's starting to sound a lot like Lord Jamar, which to me is in that case reverse racism. A lot of people, you know, think that racism can only be against black people, Latino people, you know, a bunch of races that are not Caucasian. But at the end of the day, to me personally, I think Lord Jamar is racist. And even though he's racist to Caucasian people, to white people, that's still racism. To me, he seems like someone that hates them, someone that has a deep hatred for them. And I understand stuff that has happened in the past. I understand history. But at the end of the day, you can't ask for no racism if you're racist yourself. And to me, this track is something along those lines. I feel Nick Cannon is coming off with a lot of the Lord Jamar vibes to him, a lot of that kind of reverse racism, where he thinks he's not being racist by calling a white person racist and saying that he's white as an insult. It's just a really awkward situation to be in. Anyways, So we dig deep into it. He's talking about those things. He's talking about how He used to talk a lot. He used to say stuff about black people back in the day. Eminem. This was a whole situation with Benzino where the source had leaked an audio track of Eminem freestyling about a black girl who was his ex-girlfriend, by the way. And since they had just broken up, Eminem was kind of mad at it because I believe his plan was to date that girl for clout because she was like a popular girl in school, and then he was gonna dump her for clout. But it backfired on him. She dumped him, and then he just got mad at that track, right? So it was a track out of anger towards a girl, and unfortunately, or fortunately for Nick Cannon in this situation, Eminem did it against a whole race by accident or out of anger for just one person. So in his intention to attack one person, he attacked the whole race. And he at the end he samples that during the hook. He samples that during the end of the track. And that's basically it. I mean, I really got nothing else to say about the track. Like I mentioned, to me, it was a good response, actually. But it was a good response in Nick Cannon standards. At the end of the day, what I can say is that if there was any of those tracks worth responding to, it would be this one. But at the same time, I mean, it's good for our generation because we would all know about the situation with Eminem's leaked track talking about that one black girl. But at the same time, I feel to Eminem it would be just like repeating history or going through that situation once again, and it might be tiring to him. So we'll see how it rolls out. But to me personally, if there was one track that he should respond to or that would actually set him off in a way, it wasn't those first tracks talking about Haley and Kim or whatever. We all know that was for clout. But this one track, to me, it definitely hits a spot where it's a little harder, and even by Nick Cannon standards, it's definitely something worth responding to. So we'll definitely be waiting to see what goes on from Eminem's camp or from Eminem himself. In the meantime, Obi Trice released another diss track. I'll be doing another video on that, and you guys can check out this track. It's also on my channel, and also this track that I'm talking about is on my channel. Also check it out. And yeah, we'll keep you guys updated. I have updates every day, and anything that comes up for hip hop media, I have it. All right, so that's basically it. It's Alpha Records. I'm out. Take care.